Hello, all you crazy ass drywallers out in drywall land, and welcome to a militant episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, once again, Nick Harmon. With us today, we have Guy Purcella, aka that Kilted guy out of Grand Junction, Colorado. With his first appearance on the show, Guy's claim to fame was building a YouTube channel to over 360,000 followers. But he's gone even further, tackling product manufacturing with a bent for 3D printers. So we dive into his new product list, but we also talk about selling on TikTok and selling on social media for that matter, and how he got started at the early age of 8 years old.
Like I said, my dad did it. He put me on drywall stilts when I was 8 years old because he used to take me to job sites and I'd be playing. And I think one day he saw me playing in a big pile of lumber with nails sticking out of it and all that. And he's like, I'm going to put the boy to work. So he brought me in and he spot the nails. Well, I was so short, I couldn't reach the nails that were 6 feet up. And yes, we had nails back then. And so he put me on them big old heavy stilts that we had back then. They weighed a ton and I could barely walk. And the very first thing that happened is I started falling backwards. Well, my uncle was waiting. He knew I was going to fall. So he caught me, stood me back up. And that's how I got started. I was doing it every day after high school. When I had a car, I would be on a job site every day for the last 2 hours, 3 hours of the work day. And, you know, my dad did it all his life, but I also saw how much it hurt him. I saw how they could barely get out of a truck sometime after a drive to a job. They'd be bent over for 2 minutes. And so I also know it can be hard on you, but.
Recently, Guy has slowed a bit due to health issues, but he's on the comeback trail. Guy is one of the most impressive stories that I've heard on the show, and I think you'll be impressed too. Mud skip. I keep hearing all about this mud skip stuff from professionals who start using it and they can't stop. I admit, I too have been bitten by the mud skip bug and find myself adding the stuff to every batch of Fresco Harmony I mix. You may or may not know that I own Fresco Harmony and I've never really added anything to my mud because I'm always trying to watch my pennies. But Mud Skip has shifted my opinion on drywall mud additives, and I think it'll shift your opinion too. People ask the question a lot, well, what does it do? Well, I think it's a little different for everybody. I can only speak for myself. But for me, it adds body to the batch of Fresco Harmony that I mix, especially the base coat, especially when I'm going over heavy textures. I also like how it preserves the batch that I mix up. With Fresco Harmony or any specialty finish, you're going to always have more product than you need at the end of the job, which means batches sit around after you're done with the project. Mud Skip Conditioner helps preserve my investment. That saves me money. You can catch my episode with owner Sheila Cross on episode 120 and hear a ton of information there. It's a good show and it answers a lot of questions. You can also check out Mud Skip at www.mudskip.com today. But for now, we've got kind of a legend on the show for the first time. Let's give a warm Drywall Podcast welcome to Guy Purcella, that Kilted guy. Episode number 154 on the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it. Guy Purcella.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to use a lav mic like this that connects to this lav mic here.
That sounds great on my end, man.
But when I do that, it cuts you off.
No, it sounds great now without it.
Okay. All right. No, I'm a professional YouTuber. I'm used to.
I know, man. And sometimes it's like too many bells and whistles, you know. We have guys on here that we just use the phone, like whatever. You know, this mic's a piece of shit.
I don't normally record from 2 feet away though. When I'm doing my videos, I'm usually 10 feet away and then it will sound like shit. Yeah, I was having to, read my email to get the Zoom link and all that stuff, and it was all sideways. So yeah,
Okay. This is great. You look great over there. That's a good backdrop. You're super clear. You've got your coffee. We've got that kilted guy, Greg Purcella.
guy.
Sorry, Guy Purcella. I can't read my own. That kilted guy, and you'll find that no matter how much research I do, I'm still a numbskull, just like most drywallers. I just happen to run a drywall podcast, so bear that in mind for all of the mistakes that I make. I'm still an idiot, just like everybody else.
Oh yeah. Plenty of mistakes.
We're all in the trenches, man. We're all in the trenches. I am a drywaller, though, so we can talk drywall. I'm interested in your story. Have you gotten a chance to check out the Drywall Podcast at all?
No, not yet.
Strike one.
I spend all my time working right now.
Okay. And is
I'm
that is that mostly YouTube or is that actual jobs?
No, I can't do the work anymore really. So right now what I've really been doing is I came out with this line of 3D printed products like this one, and they've been doing really well. So I've been
Let's see that product. Let's see what you got like this one. I saw some type of obelisk.
it's
Roll fresh. What is it? What are we looking at here?
so basically, you know how on a lot of times as drywallers we get asked to do a little bit of painting too. And even if that's your main job is drywall, every now and then you get asked to do some painting. And I did nothing but drywall repairs for 20 years. For the first 20, I did general new construction, the usual. Then I decided that was too hard on me. And I come from a family of drywallers. I have at least two, my dad and my uncle, we used to all work together at one time.
Well, let me stop you. Let me stop you. We'll get to all that. I'm curious about this tool. So
Well,
sometimes us numbskull drywallers, we get wrapped into painting, which is even a lower echelon. we, we
so
sink down to the level of the painters.
having to do some painting, and a lot of times all I was doing was painting one wall or one ceiling, and I hated throwing away paint rollers.
Okay.
They're not that much. I mean, these days, $5 or $6. I always bought a good quality like Purdy.
Yeah,
Still hated throwing them away, and I really hated cleaning them. And I
me
kept
too.
about how can I clean one faster and easier? So
Okay.
I came up with this product like this right here,
Okay.
where this turns
Okay.
into your drill and it goes into your paint roller, and then you
Yep.
spin it in a bucket of water.
Right.
I got into 3D printing about a year ago. I've always wanted to be an inventor. I've had all these ideas, like a lot of us. And
Yeah. Yeah.
3D printing, you can test your idea for about 75 cents, not including the cost of the printer. So I started making some. Well, the first couple I made, I took it to a job site. I'm excited to clean my paint roller with it, and I spun it up and it broke right off the bat. And I realized, okay, this is not going to be as easy as it sounds. So I went through about 20 prototypes and all kinds of different materials, and I finally came up with a design that's strong enough. And it's partly because of this blue post right here
Yes.
material we have to glue into here, and we have to print this part standing up, and we print the blue part laying down, and with a special slicing, they call it, technique. And finally I figured out how to make it strong enough. We have very little breakage, and I'm a person who believes in standing behind my work. Well, I stand behind this. So if one breaks, I just send somebody a new one.
Okay.
Had anybody need one twice. So
Cool.
basically, you put this in a bucket of water, you spin it back and forth like 10 15 seconds, spin it off like in an empty bucket or outside or whatever. And then you do that 2, maybe 3 times tops. I mean, after the first time, it looks like it's clean, but it still needs a little. After 20 to 30 seconds, it's clean. I mean, it really works well.
Love it. And if you're listening, this is it's a little apparatus that goes on your regular cordless drill that holds your roller, and so that you can spin your roller in a bucket of water. If we should give one away, we should give a couple away.
Okay.
All right. Maybe we'll post this on social media, and if somebody's listening and you happen to paint, you don't have to tell anybody that you paint, but if you do paint on the side and you want to clean your roller, reuse your roller, this is the tool for you. Do you have a name for this thing?
It's called the Spin Clean.
Spin Clean.
It's going to be on Amazon soon. I was working on that last night. It's on a website, Tool Fuse, which is tool and then FUZE.com.
I love your entrepreneurial spirit already, Guy. This is going to be a good show. Just to back up, Guy Purcella where are you from?
Grand Junction, Colorado.
That's right. GJ, as they say sometimes. And you have an Out West drywall supply right there where you could walk in and grab Fresco Harmony products, dude. If you're ever inclined, and we'll get to the Fresco Harmony segment of the podcast later. It was Greg Strebe that reached out. He sent me an email with you attached, and he was like, dude, you got to get on the Drywall Podcast and talk to this guy. And that's how you and I met. However, I have seen the Kilted guy on YouTube. And stop me if I'm wrong. Is there a image of you? This might be a different person standing on stilts in the water. Is that different?
That's a different guy.
That's a different guy.
Yeah. That is
that's a drywall doctor.
Yeah, Ray.
That's Ray. Okay, he's been on the show.
Yeah, he's an old school drywaller like me. I'm 64 years old now.
Okay, if you want to dive into the Drywall Podcast, because you're gonna love it, I think. Even if you're not a podcaster, I'm silly and we talk about drywall. But his episode, The Drywall Doctor, is actually pretty good. If you get a chance, because I would put you guys sort of in a similar category because he's really popular on YouTube as well. I looked at Guy's YouTube page. 346,000 subscribers. That's really impressive. Congratulations on that. And we wrangled you, and now you are here on the Drywall Podcast, and we're happy to have you.
Well, thanks.
There's the introduction.
This is my first podcast.
this is your first. And see, you should be on more podcasts, especially since you're selling all this cool stuff. I want to get into that. And you also have courses for drywall, which I'm interested in, and you're wearing a shirt, the Drywall Academy with drywall courses. So you've got a lot going on post drywall. We'll talk about your how you got into the trade and all of that good stuff as well. I want to continue on a little bit with these 3D tool inventions that you're making. How many products do you have currently with your 3D printing?
Oh, 7 or 8 is about all, because
crazy.
The Spin Clean's the first one. So not to get too deep into this right now, but we moved into a new building a year ago.
Okay.
I can tell you that story. It's kind of a interesting story. We lived in an RV for a few years. We got kicked out of our last building for bogus reasons. Anyway, we moved into this. So this place has a 3,000 square foot shop, and we walk through the door and we live in the other part, which is 1,400 square feet. So it's a barn dominium style, if anybody knows what that is.
Sure.
I set this up now to be my YouTube studio. Well, I also launched this product a year ago, and when we launched it, it just sold like crazy for a month. We did like $6,000 in sales on that one product mainly in the first month. So um, this I see this as my drywall retirement because, as you know, when we quit,
Yeah.
if you don't have some kind of retirement, a 401, an investment, something, your money just stops. We don't have Social Security is like nothing. So we don't really have a retirement. So I came out with this product. Well, that led to, I got to thinking, well, I'm doing painting products. So this one I just kind of showed you here. And then it has a few inside of it. I call this a painting tool bundle. So we got the spin clean we talked about. And I thought, okay, a lot of times you need to keep your paint roller wet for a day or two or longer because, you take off for the weekend and you don't always want to wash it. It's still usable.
Right.
Wrap it up in plastic.
Yeah.
It works most of the time, but a lot of times I'd come back and somebody'd moved it or the wind or tape came loose or something and the edge dried out. And once it does, the roller's toast. So I came out with this idea of this tube that you can just take and drop your wet roller inside of it. I designed all these, by the way, and
I can't believe there isn't one already. That's so stupid simple. I love it.
Sort of one, but I don't like it. It was on the
Yeah.
shark. And the reason I don't like it is it's this thin plastic clamshell design. It snaps together. It's not really well air sealed. It's not tough. This one's pretty tough.
Okay.
I saw too many disadvantages to that one, so I came out with this, and it has a little locking tab here, and these arrows even point to where the locking tab goes. You put it into place, you lock it, and it's almost airtight. I've kept a roller wet in here for a week, no problem.
Okay.
And I even designed it so I think about, I'm an over analytical person, so I thought, you drop this in here, the paint's going to kind of run down, it's going to pull, you're going to bring it back out, and paint's going to be oozing everywhere, dripping off the end. So I made a little raised platform about a 1/4 inch on the end, so it sits up
There you go.
full of paint.
Smart.
So that was that one. And then I thought, okay, what else kind of goes along with this whole concept? So this one's fairly simple, but I came up with this little, I just reworked this. It's totally different. Nobody's seen this yet for sale. It's brand new, but
Oh, I like it.
go on here and you could put it over the top of your paint roller and just give it a little tap and it knocks the paint roller off.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I do the old side of the garbage can.
And it works, but if you want to do it a simple way, and I mean, I sell that part really cheap. It's
I
something like
love it.
6 or 7. I forget. They change
So
all.
you've got a little kit. These particular ideas are comprised into a kit. Now, do you have a name for the kit?
I just call it the painting tools bundle, and it saves you over buying all of them separately. And these all fit together. For those that can't see it, there's this tube that's about I don't know, it's about 50% bigger than the diameter of the paint roller, a little bit taller, and all these 4 things I'm describing fit inside of here.
And also you can check out this episode of the Drywall Podcast on YouTube, but also you could probably see this tool in action on that Kilted Guys YouTube page. If you're not following this dude, 346,000 followers. And that is amazing because you can take these inventions and you can you've got an existing built-in platform where you can showcase this stuff. Now, would you say initially when you post something on YouTube, that's where the bulk of your sales come from?
Lately, it's been TikTok, and I wasn't on TikTok until about 2 months ago. Since I launched on TikTok, we've sold 470 of the spin cleans alone. In the beginning, I couldn't keep up with the sales, so I went from having 6 printers to 10. I've added 4 more printers.
Shut up. And you just started TikTok like 2 months ago? So you set up a TikTok shop where people can buy these tools. And is it that Kilted guy on TikTok?
On there, I do it as I think it's handy DIY tips for you. Um, because I'm focusing more on just these products and a few other things, not so much the drywall side of it like I was.
Right.
TikTok
Smart.
is more people are there for the short, really short videos that entertain and make people go, what the heck? And this product kind of does that. I did
Okay.
put a video on YouTube, a shorts video demonstrating this, and it was getting 100,000 views a day. And a day. That's
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I get it. I get it, guy.
because I shot a video of it in a plastic chamber from the end with a GoPro, and I did it in slow motion. And this spins all that off in like half a second. It happens so fast
Cool.
you can't see it. So I did it in slow mo, and you see this like wall of water, dirty paint water just flying up.
Smart.
Fascinating. People like to watch it over and over and over. My wife does. Everybody I've showed it to is like, that is cool, dude. So that's why that video got so many views. Well, that drives sales.
Hell yeah. That's smart. Handy DIY tips for you on TikTok. And then was that difficult setting up your TikTok shop? Because I've heard that, like, if you're not doing a TikTok shop, which I'm not with my product, like an idiot, so, you know, you should, because it's such a great platform to move products on. This is what I've been hearing lately a lot of.
It is. That's what I heard. Here's how I heard about it. I got into 3D printing by going to this thing called a maker space, which they have in a lot of areas, and
Yeah, we have one. Yeah.
cool tools and that. Well, I gravitated right to the 3D printers. I was like, because I had one a drywall invention idea. I haven't released it. I got a bunch more I haven't even released because I haven't had time. And
Okay.
I'll tell you just briefly, that is a way to measure the thickness of your drywall texture and thinner muds so that you get it more precise. And that's more
Oh,
the novice. They're always asking how thick, and we go, it should be like pancake batter. Well,
yeah.
pancakes.
Yeah, you take your mixer and you put it in. If it drips off at a certain, if it drips off your mixer, if you get 2 drips per second every 3 minutes, that's the perfect consistency. You get 2 Gatorade bottles of water.
Yeah. And it's all different. So I thought we need some way to make a consistent measuring. So anyway, I went and 3D printed it, fell in love with them. After a while, I realized the maker space lets everybody go in and tweak those machines. And every time I'd go in, I'd have to fix them or retweak them.
Right.
My own. Well, pretty soon I had 3 of them, but they were giving me fits all the time. So I learned about a brand called Bamboo. That's what every pro like myself uses because they're reliable, they're easy to work on, and they're just accurate and they work. So I got one, and and I've gravitated to this 10, like I say. But anyway, I sold one of my old ones to a guy. He came by, he goes, I just buy these now and then for something. And he said, I've got 15 printers going myself, and we ship out like 70 orders a day just off TikTok. And he said he looked like he was probably 35. He said, I'm going to have my house paid off in a year or two because of all the sales we're doing. And that's when the light bulb went off about TikTok. It's like, okay,
Okay.
but it's not my favorite platform because
Mine either. And the videos, they're picky about the videos, I know. But I think if you figure out the algorithms, which isn't a big deal, just the way you make videos and people, and I want to stress too that like every platform is different. If you're putting up a video and throwing it onto Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, that is not the way to do it. Each platform is has a different format, I think, that you should gear towards for the platform. I'll post these long sort of videos on TikTok that should absolutely be on YouTube, you know. And I post short videos on YouTube that should be on TikTok. I think it's okay to mix it up and test the algorithms, but just for our listeners, there is special postings that you should do that cater to the platform that you're on. There, it's not across the board.
Yeah, that's why I changed my channel name because I put out some teaching videos, fairly short ones over on TikTok, and they just weren't getting any traction because I figured out TikTok is all about that sensational video, that crazy video, and
Yeah,
so or that product that just grabs people's attention. It's kind of like the new home shopping network in a way.
right.
People browse and see all these cool products and being demonstrated by us creators in clever ways that big companies can't do, because what we do as creators, the reason people gravitate towards us as companies is we build trust. I am very honest with my audience. I don't lie.
Right.
I don't try and sell them shit just because I want the money. I only take on products that I believe in. And so my buyers or my viewers tend to buy more products that I recommend, like on Amazon. I'm an Amazon affiliate. If I
Okay.
recommend this drywall tool or this construction tool, they tend to go buy that exact one because they trust me, and I try to be honest like that. So
Do you carry products that are not your own on your Amazon space? Do you do anything with that or buy things to sell?
Amazon, I just pick things that I think are good products and recommend them, and I get a whole 3%. It's not much, but people gravitate towards that so much that we've had months where we've made like $1,200, $1,600 just
Okay.
3%. If you do that math, that's a lot of sales. But when you're in
Crazy.
drywall, especially, you don't know what to buy, so you want somebody you trust to tell you what to buy. And I try and tell them the affordable but quality items, and that usually ends up being, something like DeWalt or something.
Okay, okay, wait a second. I like where this is going because we do talk about products on the Drywall podcast sometimes, specifically drywall products. What products are you pumping right now? Because if you're a drywaller, you know as well as I do, like people, you're going to say DeWalt and people are going to be like, those DeWalt tools suck. I use, oh, Makita. Okay, there you go.
Whatever works, and I believe I'm one who's not a brand loyalist. I drive a Ford now. I also have a 54 Chevy truck, and I have a 27 Model T Ford with a Dodge engine in it. If it works and it's good quality, I use it. I don't
Love it.
do Chevy's the only way. I drove Chevys most of my life. But about 4 years ago, I bought a 2019 F-150 with the EcoBoost. I love that truck. Best truck
Okay.
home. So I same with drywall tools. Don't stick to just being a loyalist to a brand. Now, when it comes to power tools, you kind of should, because you're going to be invested in their batteries. That's what you're invested in.
Right.
It's a quality tool. You don't want to have 8 Makita batteries and 8 DeWalt batteries and 8 Ryobi and all that stuff. But when I do recommend tools, I will often tell people, if you're really on a budget, maybe go with Rigid or something. Maybe Ryobi. I am not real fond of Ryobi, but if you're really on a budget like a homeowner,
Right.
go with that. But if you're going to do it as a pro, you need to go with Makita, Milwaukee, or DeWalt. That's pretty much my rule.
I like DeWalt for a lot of things. I have a rigid vacuum.
Mhm.
Like, I think their shop vacs are great, but my hand tools are DeWalt, And then I think I have a Ryobi portable like plug-in sander
Yeah.
or orbital sander.
One or two Ryobi tools. They're not all bad. It's just if you're going to use the heck out of them, they're going to wear out faster. Absolutely.
All right.
Some before where I just was not happy because us pros tend to beat the crap out of them.
Right.
And you need something that can take that. And I've had these DeWalt tools for like, I first bought a cordless DeWalt probably 25 years ago when they
Yeah.
just splintered off from Black and Decker. And I've never looked back because they just hold up. I don't have any problems with them if you treat them right. Like anything,
Yeah.
if you beat up your tools too much, you abuse them, they're going to break down. If you don't maintain them, if they need it,
I
things.
just started using the Tape Tech 6 inch. I really like it. I like the and something funny. I keep my 6 inch in my side belt loop, which not a lot of people do, but some people do. But most people back pocket. But I like the Dickies with the belt loop. I keep it in the belt loop, and the Tape Tech has a like girthy handle, and it stays where I put it, and it has a shorter blade. It's kind of rigid too, which I like. I've used more flexible blades, but I just like it. It's weird, you know?
Here's my biggest advice. I've got a book out. I've got several. I just relaunched one that's a ebook and a published book. It's a print on demand. You can go on Amazon. It's Drywall Tools and Materials.
Okay.
That one's for especially for novices and upcoming drywallers that just want to know more about what tools to choose. So I go into in-depth things about quality and design. And that one of the biggest things I stress is drywall finishing, especially, is an art. An artist uses tools that fit them, and
Right.
it has to feel right in your hand. I just took up guitar recently. It's the same thing with music. Guys, guys that have been playing for a long time can pick up one guitar and go, "Oh, this sucks," and pick up another one. "Oh man, this plays smooth." I'm a novice. I can pick them both up and go, "What? What are you talking about?" So you gotta cater to your level of skill. But if you're a beginner, you just gotta take some advice from somebody and learn to use that tool. One of my favorite drywall knives I bought 40 years ago or more. Let's see, 1982, however long that is.
Yeah.
Long time ago. I got two of them. I liked them so much. They were called Harrington knives. And all they are is they're 8-inch knife, but they got just this right flexibility, and they're still my favorite 8-inch knife. Because
Uh,
it feels right in my hand. But at the same time, you can hand me a crappy knife and I can still do a good job. It'll just fight me more and I won't like it. So skill comes down to way more than tool.
yeah.
It's with the guitar. If you ever go on YouTube and go watch something, Hello Kitty guitar with a pro or something. I saw one time. This guy's really good, and he picks up a Hello Kitty guitar. It's probably like
Yeah. He's playing Stevie Ray Vaughan.
he makes it sound really good. So it's more about the skill of the user than the tool. But tools are important, but they're more about feel for a finisher. And then next is quality. It has to hold up and last. So on that note, I reached out to Level 5 Tools a few years back. They're one of my sponsors. And
Okay.
they their whole set of taping tools because they saw that I know how to use drywall tools. And I was running drywall bazookas when I was 16 years old, and I was really good at it. I could keep two or three guys running behind me because I enjoyed it. I wanted to see how fast I could go with it.
Yeah.
It was a challenge. And so I've used their tools a number of times. I grew up using Ames tools. They
Yeah.
rented them back then. That's all you could do, I think, back then,
Yeah.
because they didn't have all these other brands. So he rented the tools, and that's what I grew up using. But I've used a few other brands. But I bought a Level 5 mud box and pump, because I was doing a lot of popcorn ceiling removals. And when you do that, you almost always need to refinish the joints. It's wise 90% of the time. So I bought a mud box for that, and it was great. I liked it. So I reached out to them, and I've had no problem with their tools. Sometimes I think it's about, do you really know how to use that tool? A lot of guys complain about tools and mud and all that. And a lot of times you're just being either overly picky or you don't know how to really use it right, because sometimes you have to know how to work it, I guess. It kind of goes like to drywall mud. You'll hear a lot of arguments. Oh, this mud sucks. I would never use that either. Or this is the only one.
Yeah.
I can use any of them. Honestly, I just
Yeah.
sure, there's some that don't feel as good, but I can't really tell that much difference between them because my skill is high enough. I just know how to make them work, I guess.
Yeah, people give me shit about using USG +3. But that wasn't even the reason that I started using it, though. It was because it was more available. There's more of it, so that making a color line based on a mud that's more readily available seemed smarter. It did not have to do with the performance of the mud, though. And there's muds that I've used that I don't like as much, and there's muds that I've used that I like better. But to your point, yeah, it's about that final finish at the end of the day. I have heard that level 5 that like they fell off and that they're getting better now. But
I think they might have. I've only had them as a sponsor for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years.
okay.
I've only used them a couple of times because of my health. I've had to get out of drywall doing it as a living because, we can talk about that if you want, but I've had a bunch of health issues that just made it to where I could only work 2 to 4 hours a day and only 2 to 3 days a week. And I don't like doing that to customers. If it's a 1 day job or a 2 day job or a 3 day job, I want to do it in 3 days, not 6, because my health sucks. I've had times where I've shown up to the job and had to turn around and go home. I'm like, I just can't do it, man. And I'm not normally that type. I'm normally the one that can outwork anybody.
Sure.
I'll tell
How old are you?
I'm 64 now.
Okay, 64. Yeah, no shame, no shame. And you're having some health complications. We don't have to talk about it. Most drywallers, if you're in the drywall trade, for any substantial period of time, you know how to work. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, I'm like I said, my dad did it. He put me on drywall stilts when I was 8 years old because he used to take me to job sites and I'd be playing. And I think one day he saw me playing in a big pile of lumber with nails sticking out of it and all that. And he's like, I'm going to put the boy to work. So he brought me in and he told me to spot the nails. Well, I was so short, I couldn't reach the nails that were 6 feet up. And yes, we had nails back then.
Uh-huh.
And so he put me on them big old heavy stilts that we had back then. They weighed a ton. I could barely walk. And the very first thing that happened is I started falling backwards. Well, my uncle was waiting. He knew I was going to fall. So he caught me, stood me back up. And that's how I got started. I was doing it every day after high school. When I had a car, I would be on a job site every day for the last 2 hours, 3 hours of the work day. And my dad did it all his life, but I also saw how much it hurt him. I saw how they could barely get out of a truck sometime after a drive to a job. They'd be bent over for 2 minutes. And so I also know it can be hard on you, but
It is hard. It is hard on you. It's tremendously hard running the box all day, running the bazooka all day, just coating corner bead all day. You go to sleep, you get the carpal tunnel. Like, it's hard work, man.
I love when people come into a job site and see you running like the box and that, and they go, "Wow, you do it the easy way." I'm like, "No, nothing about this. You come push this."
Yeah, no shit. No shit. Cool. The great episode so far. So you start, I mean, you're second generation, you started pretty young. Was that in Grand Junction?
Glenwood Springs, Colorado,
Oh, okay. All
just
right.
down the road. My dad used to run about a crew of about 50 people. He did a lot of the condos in Vail back when the ski areas were booming. We lived in Eagle, Colorado.
Yep. We have locations. Fresco Harmony is in out west in Eagle and Glenwood Springs, and that Glenwood Springs location does the best because I've got designers calling me from Aspen, and so they're putting in these dudes that have been doing plaster in those areas for years. Like they're salty, and that's hard on your body as well. So they're finding the Fresco Harmony. They're like, "Oh, this is great."
Oh,
Like we charge the same amount and just use freaking joint compound.
I was thinking about your concept back then. I didn't know that existed. I left that area in 2004.
Okay.
I was there from 91 to 2004, but for 4 years of that, I was part owner and I ran a pawn shop up in that area.
Oh, funny.
The rest of the time I was doing drywall. And that's when I started my own drywall repair business called Mr. Patch Drywall. And I
Okay.
was in Aspen area a lot. And I actually took a week-long faux finishing course to learn finishes that were beyond, normal.
Yeah.
And I had learned some pretty fancy finishes, but I just decided that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It was hard to get into that market and a lot of
Yep.
just, but I
The plaster though, I'm surprised you didn't dabble into plaster, but they probably have a couple companies in those areas that just crush it with plaster that are the go-to companies.
I have no clue how to do that. So that's the one
Yeah.
area I don't know. I've done about every phase of construction, but not plaster.
Yeah, it's a bitch. Spoiler alert, it's a bitch. So Fresco Harmony hopefully creates that plaster look just with mud. It's a lot easier. We're using acrylic. We're not burnishing like all of that.
Good idea because one day I'm using a knife that was blue steel and it had rusted, a 6 inch. And, they're almost always blue steel. Well, when I started mixing up my mud in a pan, the rust got into the mud and it made that swirly, rusty look. And I thought, that looks cool. How
Yeah.
capture that? And that's kind of what your product does, ain't it? Kind of puts a color into the mud and turns it into kind of a plaster-like effect.
Yeah, you'd think that I'm like just dumping color in. Oh, that guy. I did an interview with a retailer just recently, and I had approached these guys in Albuquerque like 8 years ago, and the girl finally like circled all the way back and got in touch with me. They're with a company called Supply NMP, but they supply plaster drywall, and I think they work for independent supply yards. And she had heard of me all this time about it. She thought it was a good idea. She asked her dad, and he was like, "Oh, he's just dumping color into mud," and they left it at that. There's more to it. It's more of a formula for because people are like, "Oh, I'll just use half a bottle." And it's like, no, no, no. You got to use one box of mud, one color pack because your color formula has to be the same from batch to batch. That's the important aspect of what I've done. And then not only that, I have a color chart so that now that plaster company in Colorado, they can take that color chart to their designer and be like, "Hey, we can get any one of these colors." And they know you just keep it simple and do one color pack per box and you're going to get and the beauty of ready mix joint compound is that it colors like paint instead of using a powder like plaster. A box of joint compound colors perfectly because it's measured. um, I didn't know that starting out because I actually developed this in Crested Butte, Colorado, neighbors of Aspen as the crow flies. Um, because we did a plaster project. And so, yeah, I started out dumping color into mud, but it quickly evolved into, and then you have to seal it because mud's porous. It's not as strong. So we also have an acrylic sealer. But the beauty of mud is the girth. So we can go over, because I'm doing two full coats, you can go over existing level 3 drywall, no sand, and you can also go over existing texture painted surface because it's just joint compound. Like, who cares? You don't have to prep the wall.
Right. Yeah, and that's the key for something like what you're doing is consistency. You have to have some way to send your product to somebody 5 states away and they can get a really close color
Yeah.
and look to what you gave them in a sample.
Yeah. You wouldn't think it, but even whites, I've got like 80 whites that I've matched. We have over 450 formulated colors for a box of mud.
Oh,
Um,
people think that white is simple. It's, oh, white. I got white walls. Can't you just go get white paint? No.
yeah.
White is very diverse color.
So anyway, that's a little bit about it, but that's sort of I forget how we got on that tangent, but in Glenwood Springs is a good market, and normally plaster guys are like, oh, he's using joint compound. That's stupid. That's not the way you do it. These plaster guys that do a bunch of it, they love it. They're like, yes, give me something easier.
I've actually been wanting to get hold of you for a while and get a sample, but I am not quite ready yet. I'm so buried in projects because I have this Drywall Academy. I have the 3D printing business. I have the YouTube channel. I also write books, several ebooks. I've got several ebooks on my store at toolfuse.com. One is about how to improve your drywall mudding skills quickly. And I'm trying to get on top of these. I do everything myself. I shoot all my videos, edit. I do all my social media. I do all my website stuff. I design all my 3D products. And it keeps me really busy. And by the way, when it comes to those products, I also have a version for the little short rollers if you're painting. And I have another version for the skinny.
Oh yeah,
That's what keeps me busy though. That
yeah.
and just moving into this shop, this 3,000 square foot shop has been a lot of work to try and get it all set up the way I want. So
I
that,
want to pause you too for 1 second. One thing that's occurring to me: if you're out there and you're approaching 60, you're in the drywall industry. Look at what Guy has done with not only social media, but you have given yourself permission to go in these new directions due to health issues, the disability to continue on in this hard. We make money doing something that is extremely difficult, and that isn't going to last. You had the wherewithal to explore new possibilities and new possibilities in the genre that you're in. That is inspiring to me, and hopefully it's inspiring to our listeners to give hope to, like, man, if there's something other, maybe you want to be a painter, like you wanted to be an acrylic or oil painter, or you want to draw, or you want to do something cool. There are avenues where you can explore your talents in nowadays that are just that we didn't have access to. You didn't, I didn't. I grew up with a rotary phone, that people are doing now, much like, and especially Guy, but much like this drywall course. And I would like to hear a little bit about that because it does pertain to drywall, and it's one of these prongs that you're involved in right now.
I see it as an offshoot of YouTube. To me, YouTube, a lot of you know this, it's a gold mine of information. It's also a gold mine of misinformation and bad information. That's what got me into YouTube. I was sitting and watching some drywall videos one day, and they were some pretty either lousy lighting, lousy sound, or bad techniques or something. And I kept watching these and going, I looked at my wife and went, oh my gosh, I could do better than that. And then it hit me. Well, why don't you? So I started exploring it and I realized, okay, I'm at that time, that was 10 years ago. I started in December of 2015 and I knew my health was starting to, you know, suffer a little bit. And I saw that I couldn't do this forever. So I thought I could pass my knowledge on to somebody. My dad couldn't do that. He could pass it on to me and maybe a few others. I can pass it on to thousands of people and we can help people learn from our mistakes. Really, that's how you learn in most anything, especially drywall. You screw up. And then
That's fine and dandy, guy, but I feel the same way about color joint compound, but I only have 400 followers. You have 364,000 followers. What did you do differently?
Okay, that's what I am good at. I looked at it and went, okay, if I'm going to do it, how am I going to do it better? If you're going to start any business, even if it's a drywaller, a finisher, a hanger, a repair guy, you have to start out with the question of how can I do it better than the other guys? If you can't, you're going to fall in that crowd and just be part of that crowd. So on YouTube, you have to find ways to do it better. So I looked at doing better lighting, better sound, better demonstrations. And I thought, okay, how can I set myself apart from them? And that way was to go more in depth. So a lot of guys do some pretty good videos out there about how to do this and that on drywall, but they don't always explain the details like what mud you use or what angle you hold your knife, how
Yeah.
the knife against the wall, how do you lean that knife over as you go down. So I started putting out videos where I maybe sometime had a side view or a top view so you could see it happening, not just me tell you.
I remember I was an apprentice in the union and I was running corner bead. And I remember there was a dude, Carlos, that was our foreman. And one time he was watching me run metal, and I was just running it, gouging it out, humping it out. Like I didn't know, nobody ever taught me. And he showed me, man, he showed me how to lay the mud on there. And then he showed me like if you tilt your blade sharp, you're going to pull just enough mud from that corner bead to the wall off that needs to be pulled off. No more, no less. You want to leave that flat and then check it with your knife. But that's all blade angle and pressure. And that was so illuminating to me. And it changed the way that I do corner bead and kind of how I think about finishing. And that was just one little thing.
Yeah, it's in the details, but the bottom line comes down to experience. It's like playing a guitar. You're not going to watch one video and go, oh man, that's how you do it. And then all of a sudden you're good. No, you got to practice, but you
Yeah.
practice the right way. So same with drywall. If you're practicing the wrong way, you're not going to get any better. So
Yeah.
I can break it down. I also do things like I started creating illustrations and I don't know how to do graphics. So I use a photo editing program and it actually works pretty well, but I create my illustrations showing the hump of the mud, what kind of curve you're looking for. Are you looking for a curve? And all these different illustrations that I could put in my videos that nobody else was doing.
You're making these videos and you're doing instruction on YouTube. How is that different from the Drywall Academy? Also, I just wanted to clarify, Tool Fuse that's your Amazon store?
It's a Shopify website.
Okay.
So it's just purely for where I sell ebooks, 3D or printed books and 3D printed items. And I'm going to be adding a lot more there. Just like I was working on this in the middle of the night. This is like, goes in your pegboard to identify your tools only. I printed it upside down, but I'm always coming up with ideas. So there'll be a lot more ideas going on there, but that's all that is
Okay.
just for I also have a website called thatkiltedguy.com. I don't put a lot on there right now because I just don't have time. I also have an email list and I don't add much to that because of time. So,
Yeah, emails fallen to the wayside for me. I generate a lot through the website because I'm more inclined to market. And then people will go to the website, but there's a lot of different ways to attack this marketing animal. It's really challenging. Not to diminish what Guy has done too. Like what you've done is because I do it. It's not only challenging, but it's like, how do I, everybody wants 360,000 followers, Guy. Not everybody has them, because maybe they're not inclined or they're doing something different or wrong, not wrong, but it's challenging to figure out.
here's probably the biggest key. I'll give you a little tip though. Subscribers don't mean squat. It's nice. I like to see the number, but I've got more like 35 million views. That's actually more important.
Okay.
With subscribers, I've got 340,000 subscribers. Only about 20% of my views come from my subscribers. I'm reaching 80% new people every time I put a video out because the algorithm, if you think about all your subscribers on YouTube, you probably don't see most of their videos because the algorithm cares about what you're watching, not who you're subscribed to. So they
Right.
watching. If you go on YouTube and watch a monster truck video, you're probably going to see monster truck videos popping up left and right. That's what they care about. So you have to try and just think of one video at a time and put out one video that's going to appeal to a lot of people. And then the big key is how you title it and your thumbnail, because we're scrolling, we're looking for something to watch. And if that thumbnail and that title doesn't make you go, what the heck? Or
Hmm.
cool, you're just going to scroll on by.
Yeah, so don't be afraid to post, even if you have 100 followers or 50 followers. Post because more nowadays, it used to be subscribers, but nowadays you don't know who's going to see that video that you're scared to post, or something about drywall or something new that you're inventing. I like that about social media nowadays. It's catering to the individual, people that want to see something new in the drywall and painting industry. That's cool.
And this industry is not full. Some people will be like, oh, it's too saturated. If you want to work it right, you can still make a lot of money if that's your goal. And it's an admirable goal to me because I'm making pretty decent money by helping people. I feel good about that. I'm helping them, fix something or get better. I've had guys and gals tell me they've started their drywall career over here in Colorado Springs, even by watching my video. And you asked, how is the Drywall Academy different from the videos?
Yeah.
It's different in a lot of ways. One of the reasons I came out with it is, think about this. Whenever we put out a video, we have a lot of fluff, I'll call it. We got to repeat the same things because 80% of our viewers have never heard me talk before. So I have to tell them about the angle of the knife every time and the pressure and which mud I'm using and how long to let it dry. And I repeat things over and over and over on every video because I have to, if I'm going to be thorough on each video. And so you're going on YouTube and you're getting this much of your drywall education when you need this much to actually understand it. But we can't do it in a 10, 15-minute video partly because we got to repeat a lot of things and we just can't.
Yeah, I can't go to your YouTube page and distill a series of knowledge starting from spotting screws to running the angle head on
Order. It's like learning how to skydive by jumping out of the plane and grabbing your parachute and going, okay, what do I do now?
right.
You watch a video, you look up, say how to repair your water damaged ceiling, and you land on it, but you didn't get the part about safety
Okay.
testing or the how to cut it out right. We just can't
That
put everything
that
in.
makes sense. The Drywall Academy is a distilled version of your information that is absorbable in a cohesive page, or is this a new? Is it a new? Do I have to subscribe? How do I get to it?
Yeah, it's drywallacademy.com, and they're going to be paid courses, but you're going to get led through it step by step. So let's say you want to go learn drywall. How do you normally do it? You go get hired on with some drywall crew.
Dad.
Yeah. Go get hired on somewhere, and you start out sweeping floors and packing boxes of mud in I didn't touch knives
For a year.
touch tools for a couple of years, the push, taping tools.
Yeah.
All you're allowed to do is spot nails and maybe coat corner bead. And you move really slowly, but you start at the bottom and you work your way up. You learn how to mix the mud properly. You learn which materials, you learn how long it needs to dry, all those little steps. And that's what this course is going to do. It's going to start you at the very beginning and explain drywall terminology. It's going to explain tools, safety, just like you really should learn it if you were on the job, only you get to learn it faster. I do slow people down a little bit. I only give them a little bit at a time. So they get like 1 to 3 lessons a day, and then they might have to skip a few days because you don't want to try and learn it all in one day or 1 week. It's too much. You need to, just like playing guitar again, you need to learn, the strings. What's the name of the strings for the first part? You need to learn all that stuff in a logical order if you really want to be good.
Yeah.
You're going to miss out on some important information. And here's the other thing about a drywall course is the reason I consider myself one of the top 1% in drywall repair guys. And that's partly because I'm a perfectionist. I'm always trying to learn, and I experiment a lot, and I make a lot of mistakes, and you learn from those mistakes. And I did it for 20 years, like I said. So 20 years is a lot of drywall repairs. I've fixed 10,000, holes in the wall, and you learn every time. And now I can pass that on to people and show them, don't do this because I tried it. I made this mistake, or you can do it this way and this way and this way, and they're all fine. Just figure out what works for you. And what the other difference is, I'm going to have a lot of different levels. Right now, I've only got one, and it's not totally done, but people can get into it. It's kind of a beginner drywall finishing course.
Okay.
I have one on matching textures. That one's going to be fairly complicated, but
That one's going to be good. The biggest thing that I see on Facebook, like groups, is how do you match this texture? That's probably the number one post that I see like regularly. You get all these different textures to match, and there, honestly, you could probably match any texture with a couple of good techniques.
I'll tell you a little story. When I first got into drywall repairs, I was in Seattle, Washington in the Air National Guard. And by the way, I was stationed at Kirtland there in Albuquerque.
Nice. Shout out to Kirkland.
Lived there right at the corner of I-25 and I-40, I think it was, or I-40 and whatever the other interstate is. But
Yeah.
I moved there and I was doing drywall hanging and that. And when I moved there, I was 4 months behind on a Camaro payment, and things were tanking in Albuquerque at that time in 1989. I tried to get hired on, let's say I was hanging a big building for this company in 1989, I was getting $9 an hour to hang drywall. And they said, okay, we're moving into the finishing phase. And I said, okay, I got to get 11 to do that. And they laid me off. So I got 4 months behind on a Camaro payment. I was repoing cars right before that. I knew I was about to get my car repoed. So I moved to Seattle. Me and my dad and my brother all did. In 2 months, I made 6 car payments. Well, while I was there, I got hired on by this big company, and he hired me on as a drywall repair guy. He had a big crew, and I was one of about 10 repair guys. The first job I went out and did, I repaired a big kitchen ceiling, and I had to blend the texture into the existing ceiling. And I thought, I've been doing this for 15 years. I'm hot shit.
Yeah.
And I did it. Well, the boss called me and said, you got to go back and sand your texture off and redo it. It didn't match. I was like, oh, yeah, this is harder than I thought. So texture matching is probably the hardest thing to do with drywall repairs, especially it. And it honestly took me 7 or 8 years to get decent at it, because it's not easy. There's so many different ways to do a knockdown texture, so many different ways to do, especially a hand texture. Everybody can do it different.
It makes me think of, because I just do the colored mud stuff now. It makes me think of, people are always like, how easy is it to patch? So now take like your textural element and then add just color. And I'm always like, well, it's a pain in the ass to patch. There's no plaster system on the market that is easy to patch, because, like you're saying, there's so many like little variables and scenarios. Sometimes I use faux paint, and I'll like faux out patches with match paint. Sometimes it depends on where it is on the wall. You can blend, and sometimes you want to go just corner to corner, reskim it, reseal it. And it's similar with regular drywall patching as well, because you have paint involved. But then my sales point to anyone is like, well, how hard is it to patch level 5 smooth and paint that shit? You got to go corner to corner on some of that, or roll out the whole wall, because that patch is gonna flash on you. So I think that is a very necessary course, or one of your courses, or one of your series that I would think. I was wondering if you thought about marketing to like the unions.
Sort of. I've been contacted by a couple companies that, like, one of them has a chain of handymen, and I won't mention their name right now, but basically it's kind of like calling yourself handyman.com, and they've got places in multiple states, and he wants to put pretty much every one of their employees through my course, because they're doing handyman stuff, and when they get done, they don't want to have to wait 2 or 3 days or a week for the drywaller to come in and then wonder if it's going to be done right, because there's a lot of people that claim to know how to do drywall repairs and they suck.
Well, and if they know how to do drywall, it's $800. Like, a good drywall guy ain't going to go into that bathroom and fix your hole for less than $500. Not nowadays. It ain't worth it.
So they want to put their guys through it, so they save money, they get the job done quicker, it's more predictable, and they're in and out, So I've got companies that want to put everybody through it. So we're going to be doing basically a flat fee for the company, and then they have to purchase what's called seats, which is kind of like a pass to put one person through a course. And I'm going to have multiple different courses. I plan on having maybe 10 different courses, because I'm going to have one on bidding small jobs, bidding big jobs. I've never bid many big jobs, but I worked for a guy, and I'm basically friends with a guy who has done probably $1 billion in work. And now all he does, he sold his drywall company, and all he does is bid jobs. He's going to be helping me teach how to bid $1 million jobs. So I'm going to reach out and expand on some of that, but I'm going to teach how to build your business. A lot of guys don't build their business right. There's ways to do it where you get Google reviews and 5-star reviews on everywhere, and you get referrals, because you probably know some of the best work you can get is word of mouth and repeat customers. If you're not getting that, you're doing something wrong. So I'm going to teach how to build your business. I'm going to have a course for the guy that wants to know everything from what drywall mud is. Is it the stuff in the backyard you dig up, or all the way to how to bid medium-sized jobs. Somebody that wants to make a career of it, it'll teach everything along the way, including bidding, insurance things, all that kind of stuff that you need to know. So I'm going to have a bunch of different courses so that I can fill the needs of different people that they're going to come in and they just want to know this, or they want to know a bunch. So
Okay. I like it. Sort of structured for the individual. I was going to ask, you probably haven't heard of him. He's out of Canada. Doug McKenzie runs the Drywall CEO Academy. I interviewed him a while back, similar, but he focuses heavily on structuring your business for success and specifically drywall businesses. And he has a course and all of that stuff. I should hook you guys up and you should at least talk, because I don't know that he gets into the nuts and bolts. These are for drywall professionals that are maybe branching out on their own but have no clue how to run a business, like that sort of person. That's a different person than somebody learning how to patch as a handyman. Totally different.
like one of the things I was doing that a lot of people don't do, if you're going to try and branch out on your own and start a drywall repair business or finishing, whatever, is asking for referrals. Just one step. We had this email chain that I devised. So if a customer contacted me, we would follow up with them like a day before the appointment to make sure they remembered. So you don't show up. I've had that happen too many times. You show up and they're not there because they forgot. Or after the job is done, a week later, I would send them this kind of automatic email that said, "Hey, thanks for having us do your work. I hope everything came out. If you got any questions, let us know. If you know anybody else that needs work like this, here's our information. We'd appreciate you passing it on." You'll get a decent amount of work just by asking for referrals. And then you can also follow up a month later and say, I forget the structure of them, but you're basically saying, just wanted to follow up one more time. And also, if you have a chance to review us on Google or Angie's List or any of them sites, here's the links below. It really helps us reach more customers. So you basically show concern that you actually want your work to look good after you leave the job. You're not there just for the money, and you're there. You also want to stand behind your work. I've had a few times I've had to go back and fix my work. Almost every time is because I was sick while I was doing it. I think I had the flu on one job and I didn't match the texture real well. I got the mud too thin. And so when it was a knockdown, so when I knocked it down, it flattened out too much, and he called me out on it. And I said, "You're right. If it didn't match, I'll be there as soon as I feel better." And I fixed it for free.
Yeah.
You got to stand behind what you do if you want to get successful in this business. You
Well,
can't.
and now you have a mud thinning tool that's going to help you get your mud to the proper consistency.
Yeah, that's the mistake I made. But normally I would catch that. But when you're sick, you just don't pay as much attention to the details and you screw up more.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like this product I sell. If it breaks, I'm going to send you a new one. I'm not going to make you pay for anything. It's just, I believe it's a quality product. The reason sometimes these break too is 3D printing is not consistent. Sometimes you get a batch that looks fine, but it's weak and you can't catch it every time because 3D printers fail about 15% of the time. I get a lot of failed prints. You go in, it looks like spaghetti everywhere. And so it's just not a perfect machine yet. And if it fails and it's, breaks or it gives you a problem, I just give people their money back or send them a new one. And you got to do that with your business too.
Yeah. I'm impressed, Guy. This is a lot, man. You've done really well for yourself. on just like beyond drywall. And that's really inspiring to me. One thing I do ask all of my interviewees is for a pearl of wisdom before you've had a bunch already, but something that you could put on a billboard to instill into your fellow drywall tradesmen about life, whatever you feel, whatever you think would be a good a good thing to leave.
I think, it kind of goes back to the old saying of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I try and live by that. If I do something to or for somebody that I wouldn't want it done to me, then I'm not going to do it. Treat people with respect, give them what they expect and more. Try and over deliver on life in general. When you like get a chance to help somebody out, help them out. You know, don't worry about the cost always, even on a job. You just got to do the right thing. Basically, to me, that's my kind of my view of life is treat people right. If you do that, you get more jobs, you make more money, you live happier, you have less stress. And to me, it's just the right thing to do is to treat people with kindness and respect and courtesy. And just like on that note, so many contractors, I hear this all the time, will overpromise and underdeliver. So they'll say, I'll be there next Thursday to bid your job or to do your job. And then they just don't show up. That's rude, man. If that's something happens, call your customer, let them know, text them. Hey, I couldn't make it today. This happened, or I'm going to be running 20 minutes late. That's respect and courtesy. And people appreciate that. I've gotten a lot of work just from treating people right. I had a pawn shop for 4 years. Like I said, I used to have people coming past 3 or 4 other pawn shops to do business with me because I treated them right. I didn't treat them like dirt bags because they needed a loan, and I gave them a fair price and
Right,
stuff like that. The only
right,
reason that business didn't do well is we needed about $100,000 to run it, and we started with 30,000.
right.
We ran out of money on loaning. I was turning down 70% of the customers coming in, but I literally had people coming from 20 miles away to come get a loan from me because I treated them with courtesy and respect.
Well, and also you tried it. So another thing that separates maybe a successful entrepreneur from a non-success is that you've just like you've tried a ton of things that we've highlighted in just this episode, and there's probably a ton more that we haven't even talked about, and not all of them are home runs, man. Sometimes you are going to fail if you're throwing it out there and if you're doing something new and stretching yourself. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on the Drywall podcast today. Check out Guy Purcella, that Kilted guy, on his YouTube page if you're not following him yet. We've got Tool Fuzz on Shopify. He's got the handy DIY tips for you on TikTok. What else you got? The ebook. Where can they get the ebook? Drywall Tools and Materials.
That that's on Amazon.
That's on, you've got the Amazon stuff also. So there's a ton, just a ton of things out there that you are up to, and you took the time to come on the Drywall podcast today. So thanks for that.
Well, thanks for initiating me to it. Like I said, this is my first one, so
Any last words that you have for the fans?
I don't know. Just remember, never give up. Sometimes I've had with all these health issues, it has crossed my mind that God, can I take much more of this? But then I remember I was in the military. I I bring out my soldier attitude, if you will, and it's like you can't give up. Just life is going to hand us some crap sometimes, and you just got to push through it, whether it's your job or your health or whatever, finances. Just keep going. A lot of my fans have kept me going by telling me that same basic thing. I've helped them a lot. and they tell me don't give up. So that'd be my word of advice is life is not easy and it gets harder as you get older.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate it, Guy. You have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll be in touch. I'll let you know when this drops, and yeah, we'll talk soon, man.
All right, sounds good.
All right, bye. Huge shout out to Guy for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today, episode 154. How in the world did that happen? Be sure to go check out Guy over on YouTube, Insta, Facebook, TikTok. Check out those products. They are pretty cool. Today's episode of the Drywall Podcast and all of the episodes in the month of November are brought to you by Mudskip. As I've stated, they've been huge supporters of Fresco Harmony and the Drywall Podcast and have helped me ever since I interviewed a person named Sheila Cross way back on episode 120, and it's a very good episode, and you should check it out if you are inclined. I am doubly excited because Mudskip is a product that I happen to use. I used it on the last job quite a bit. I was neck deep in this atrocious texture, and a little scoop of their level 5 smooth product gave my batch of Fresco Harmony the girth it needed to tackle the thickest of substrates. No joke, it was atrocious texture and now it's gone. I swear, I'm addicted to the stuff now, and I have to have it in every batch of Fresco Harmony that I mix. But don't take my word for it. There are some amazing industry leaders who use Mudskip every day and are touting their accolades. Find out more at www.mudskip.com. Have a hankering to come on the Drywall Podcast. I would love to hear from you, and our listeners would love to hear your story as well. You can reach out to me directly at info@frescoharmony.com. You have a lot of choices to listen to during your workday or in the car. Today you chose the Drywall Podcast, and I am grateful to you for that. Join us every Friday for new and exciting episodes on the Drywall Podcast. I hope you all have a fantastic week or weekend, whatever you're going into. And remember, keep drywalling.